What you're about to see is one of the greatest, most hands-off breads on the entire planet. So without further ado, let us begin. Okay, so we're making focaccia yet again. I'm talking the ultra bubbly, really aerated, beautiful kind that you see on Instagram and all the other places that are internet. The beauty of this recipe is it's done days in advance. It requires very minimal prep time. I'm talking mix, let it sit, bake. That's pretty much it. But you probably already have the ingredients in your pantry right now, so with all that said, let's make this, shall we?
Two things to note. This is very simple, but I refuse to give you any other unit of measurement other than grams, because that's how this should be done. So if you have a problem with it, you could turn 360 degrees and leave. I love that joke. See, it's funny because if you turn 360, you would be facing the same, yeah. Anyway, get yourself a bowl of a large stand mixer. To that, you're gonna add 825 grams of bread flour and 150 grams of whole wheat flour, stone ground, whatever you want. Mix that together until thoroughly combined. Now to the side, you're gonna get 830 grams of water that's been heated to around 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. Go ahead and mix it and dissolve 7 grams of instant yeast. You can also use fresh yeast. And if you want a sourdough version, you'll need about 150 grams of mature sourdough starter if you want to go that route. Now with the dough hook attachment, start mixing on low speed. Now add all of your water to the flour mix and mix that for 10 minutes. You may have to scrape down the sides of the bowl occasionally because it can be a little finicky getting to the bottom. Make sure all that flour gets hydrated. After that 10 minutes is up, add in 20 grams of fine sea salt and increase the mixer speed to medium-low and mix for an additional 10 minutes. Yes, a lot of mixing, you gotta do it. Now while that's mixing, finally you're gonna add 30 grams of extra virgin olive oil and mix for an additional 3 to 5 minutes or until beautifully incorporated. Now look, this is where things can get a little bit difficult if you've never done this before. You're gonna dump the dough out onto a unfloured work surface. It'll be really sticky and all over the place, I know. And you're going to pick it up like this, slap it and fold it over itself. And when you pick it back up to repeat that, instead of grabbing it by those two open ends, you're actually gonna grab it where it folded from the front and the back. Grab it, flip, slap, and fold again, and rinse and repeat. This is called, well, slapping and folding. You're gonna do this for about 2 minutes or until it's nice and smooth and not so sticky. Then get yourself a container that's 3 to 4 quarts in size. You can also do it in a 9 by 13 inch baking pan. Spray it with oil and also give it a little drizzle of olive oil. Toss your dough in, cover it with a greased lid or greased plastic wrap, and then place it in your refrigerator for 48 to 72 hours. Yes, that's it. Well, I mean, that's all you have to do, but now you gotta wait. Now this is gonna develop all sorts of gas and flavor and all good things. Gas and flavor don't really combine well, but you get the point. Now once it's bake day, pull it out of the fridge. Look at all those bubbles, I mean, come on. Then get yourself a baking sheet, give it a nice little spritz of spray oil, and a generous drizzle of olive oil. Now carefully, pull your dough out of your container, sort of scraping it down. You really wanna be careful not to degas it. You wanna keep as much of that gas in there as possible. You can see me kind of gently maneuvering it into a rough sort of rectangle. Don't stretch it too much. And get it just stretched so it begins to get close to the edges of your pan. Cover it with another baking tray and wrap it in plastic wrap and let it sit at room temperature for 2 to 3 hours.
There he goes. There he goes.
What are these for? Ah!
Now once it's bake time, make sure that you've preheated your oven to as hot as it will physically go. 500 to 550 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal. Now get your best olive oil, any sort of flavorings. You can add tomatoes, you can add Castle Vetrano olives, whatever. Drizzle it heavily with olive oil. Don't go too skimpy here. Now to help retain its gas, I actually prefer not to dimple it too much, but you can absolutely dimple if you'd like. Then add the toppings that you want. Here I'm just gonna be adding a nice, generous amount of za'atar and maybe a little bit of flaky salt. Then pop it in your oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until your desired color is achieved. It's good to get a little char on there. And that is your beautiful focaccia. Now ideally this is better when it's nice and warm, but make sure to take it out of the container and have it cooling on a wire rack so the bottom doesn't get all gross and soggy.
Okay, it's a focaccia time. This is a Bubbly focaccia. It's shockingly easy, but it has more culture, more class, more love, and it can be done sourdough. Y'all know how I feel about sourdough. You can see how aerated it is. You eat it, and then you're like, yeah, hello, don't do this, by the way. Hey, Grandma, I made focaccia today. You should come over. Bye. If you've never made focaccia before, this will be the greatest focaccia that you ever make, period, end of story. And if you have made it before, same thing. Now let's see if we can sandwich it.
So get yourself a segment of your focaccia, obviously cut it in half for a sandwich. Get some nice ripe tomatoes, cut them thinly, and always season your tomatoes with salt, okay? I'm sick and tired of sandwiches where you don't season your tomatoes. Stop it. Get yourself about 6 slices of prosciutto, place them in a cold pan, heat it over medium heat, flipping occasionally until nice and crispy and golden brown. Yes, fried prosciutto is the way. Now we'll make a little mayo. For that you'll need about a 1/3 cup of mayonnaise and 2 tablespoons of pesto. This is the one from my gnocchi video. The juice of half of a lemon and salt and pepper to taste. That's it. Give it a little mix and you have a beautiful pesto mayo. Now to assemble this, you're gonna add a generous amount of your pesto mayo on both sides of the bread. Don't go skimpy here, all right? Add some lettuce of your choice. Here I have some little baby lettuce. He's gonna go night-night really soon when I crunch down on its flesh. Add your thinly sliced tomato, which has been seasoned, right? Right? You see, I'm watching.
Papa is always watching.
Followed by your crispy prosciutto. I mean, look at that. It's like glistening. Some thinly sliced fresh mozzarella cheese. This is truffle mozzarella, not the flex, but hit it with a little glug of nice extra virgin olive oil, some fresh cracked black pepper, then some nice Genoa salami, not to be mistaken with gorlami, and optionally some thinly sliced Greek pickled peppers. Add a little more lettuce just for some extra texture, and crown your king. I mean, look at that is a behemoth of a sandwich. Cut it in half and reveal what I believe to be one of the greatest cross sections we've ever seen on this show of all time. I mean, it's juicy, it's loosey, and it's goosey. Now let's give it a taste test, shall we?
Truffle mozzarella, salami, fried prosciutto, tomatoes, lettuce, pickled pepper. Yeah. This is it. This has got to be one of the greatest focaccia sandwiches, or any sandwich for that matter, that I've ever placed in my mouth, upon my tongue. Well, come try it. Oh, I'll hold the camera. I'm gonna be the cameraman.
That's amazing.
This is the single greatest sandwich I've put in my mouth.
Yeah.
Good job. This is Vikram all day, by the way.
But you want to know what else is bubbly, crunchy, and beautiful? B-roll.
Okay, that is it with the focaccia. Anyway, we made focaccia. It turned out absolutely perfect. It's beautifully aerated and soft and light, and yet it has a nice structure too that can hold ingredients together perfectly. What more do you want? Like I said before, I know I already have a focaccia recipe, but this one is extra special. There's extra care, and you can even have a sourdough option for it if you so desire. We'll leave it at that with a quick one, so if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.